Guten Morgen, Bitcoin. Heute ist Sonntag, der 1. Oktober 2017. Ich bin Paloma Carter mit Thomas Hunt. Und das ist, was heute in Bitcoin passiert.
The price of Bitcoin was up 1.1% the last 24 hours, with a last of 43.09, a high of 43.69, and a low of 42.63. Our top story today: Roger Ver, Satoshi Light, Ben Davenport, Morokosa, and Tur de Meester are betting 1,000 Bitcoin, that's $4 million, on the SegWit 2x hard fork. The basic bet is this: it started with Charlie Lee of Litecoin fame offering 250 Bitcoin, $1 million, against Roger Ver offering him 250 Bitcoins of Bitcoin 2x. So it would be a trade. They're essentially betting on which fork will survive, and they're betting quite a lot. Adam Back, inventor of Hashcash, joined in, saying that unless Roger Ver puts up at least 25,000 Bitcoin, it was a little quick math, that would be about, I don't know, a lot of dollars, about $100 million, that it doesn't matter. Anything else lower is posture. We'll bring the Bitcoin. Gregory Maxwell offers to do an atomic swap. As Trace Meyer says in the comments, I agree. 250 Bitcoin is not cool. 25,000 Bitcoin is cool. And if GMAX does the atomic swaps to cryptographically ensure enforceability, then let's play. Roger responded to that he would never trust millions of dollars in Bitcoin to pre-alpha grade software being promoted by the other side of the bet. That would be retarded. To which Trace Meyer responded, I would not trust GMAX's atomic swap code either. Hence peer review. You and your A-team developers can, right? A subtle dig at Roger's questionable development team. We'll continue watching this bet and see what happens, but remember, if someone's willing to make such a large bet, they might know something that you don't know. The 2x hard fork seems to be much more important than the Bcash hard fork. Philly Fed chief, Bitcoin has little chance of thwarting monetary policy. An interesting take from the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, who believes that Bitcoin has not been tested by a real catastrophe, ignoring the Mt. Gox closure, the Silk Road closure, the current Bitcoin civil war, and the hard forks. All of that must be nothing to him. And he still believes that Bitcoin is too volatile and that people believe that value comes from governments. It's all trust issues to him. On the other side, IMF chief Lagarde tells central bankers it's not wise to dismiss virtual currencies, practically echoing Putin's central banker and the government of the People's Republic of China. She says in many ways, virtual currencies just might give existing currencies and monetary policy a run for their money. The best response by central bankers is to continue running effective monetary policy while being open to fresh ideas and new demands as economies evolve. Very interesting and very smart comments from the IMF chief. A victory for Bitcoin. A rare positive Bitcoin article from Forbes saying that Bitcoin survived the recent bear run. Bitcoin survived Jamie Dimon and others, the ECB chief, saying that it was tulips and a fraud. Bitcoin survived the price going down after China banned it. Bitcoin not only survived it, but it came right back. As he says in his article, the ability of Bitcoin to survive these things and recover has made Bitcoin a much more attractive investor for anyone sitting on the sidelines considering this. While he says that institutional money has not started flowing in, it could start soon. And now we're joined by Tone Vase for a check of the current markets. How's it going, Tone?
Hey guys, how are you? It's here at the Blockchain Lab once again. My last full day in Italy. Venice was great yesterday. I gotta still tweet out some pictures. And sure, let's get to some screen share and we'll see what's going on. All right, so I'm trying to figure out what are my most controversial comments over the last 48 hours. And it seems like people are really being bothered. It's like some people are complaining I'm too bullish on Bitcoin, and some people are complaining I'm too bearish on Bitcoin, which is kind of hilarious in its own. So people continue to question my view that empty mempool is no big deal at all. And that's just wrong. That's people having blinders on, right? Everyone is trying to explain to me how everyone's a saver. But everyone can't be a saver. Bitcoin still needs to be used, guys. Look, I disagree with Roger Ver that Bitcoin's #1 priority is a transactional currency and saving is not important. The saving is more important, but saving can't be 99% of the value of your asset. Like this is why gold is kind of useless, and this is why gold has not moved at all in like 100 years, barely at all, right? Compared to the S&P 500. So you need economic activity on Bitcoin. No, it doesn't need to be 80% of the usefulness of Bitcoin, but it needs to at least be 10 to 20% of the usefulness of Bitcoin. And right now, with an empty mempool, you're right. Bitcoin is just saving, but if everyone is saving it and no one's using it, sooner or later, people are going to realize, why the hell am I saving it for? Okay, so there needs to be some economic activity. I'm still nervous about this mempool. It's not a problem today. It's not a problem tomorrow. But sometime later this year or next year, this could become an issue where some big seller says, fuck it, I'm going to sell. The price dips. Another big holder says, fuck it, I'm going to sell too. And then the price just escalates to the downside. Let's just say if Bitcoin gets to that magic $10,000 number and the mempool is bone dry, I'm going to be looking for like a 60% correction. We'll go back up, but don't underestimate the fact that we were all fooled that Bitcoin was more useful as a transactional currency than it was because of the spammers. All right. What do you think?
Again, I would like to provide a counterpoint to that, saying that if Bitcoin is a store of value in the early phases, it's only because the current monetary system, such as credit cards and cash, is working fine. As Bitcoin as a store of value grows and the other system collapses, mainly because of chaos or because of Bitcoin, then we would see the currency option become into use as the credit card system and the cash system is either banned or breaks down.
Right.
That would be my opinion.
So the good news is I'm here in Europe and the credit card system works like shit, okay? And everyone's using credit cards. Like I'm more optimistic than ever that Bitcoin is going to be a transactional currency because first of all, my American credit cards don't work half the time in Europe anymore because of the stupid chip and pin system that America didn't adopt. They adopted the chip system without any pin, right? So half of the machines in Europe, I stick my credit card in, it's asking me for a pin. I don't have a freaking pin. It's an American credit card, okay? Even here, like we were trying to buy a ticket, a train ticket to Milan from a machine, and I was with an Italian, with Italian credit cards, and it wasn't freaking working. We had to go see a teller. We had to go get like a number, like at the DMV, and like wait for a teller. Like, look, I don't know. The credit card system is, I mean, I'm like, wow, it really needs Bitcoin. Anyway, let's move on.
That's a fair critique, but my credit card has mostly worked, although I am being charged a foreign transaction fee. So every time I spend, I'm losing.
Oh, dude, no, you gotta change. You gotta change your credit cards, man. Like airline credit cards don't do that. Like go get an American Airlines, go get a United card, Discover card. Well, like half the credit cards no longer do that. So that's due diligence on you.
Yeah, obviously I was unprepared for this trip. It was very last minute, and then I also had the issue with a bad interface on the bank ATM, not telling me that my $500 limit was not going to give me 500 euros. But that was just, again, my confusion. But go ahead, Tim.
I give it another year. Your $500 should give you more than 500 euros. But anyway, the Bitcoin blocks are doing fine. Took a look at Btrash this morning, and they're insta-mining again. Jesus Christ. I mean, look, this is the stability. Look, I thought that was like, okay, fine. Maybe they're stable. Maybe they're stable. They're going to go around profitability, and then boom, it makes a new low, and then boom, it makes a new high. This is completely unstable. They went from
I also saw a great tweet from Charlie Lee saying that there was going to be 45 Bcash blocks in the next hour, just like Satoshi's vision.
right. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, they literally went from not having a block for 7 hours to having 70 blocks in an hour, right? Like it's. I mean, this is a joke. I mean, this is a complete and utter joke. I mean, look at the inflation. Look at this. Look at this spike. Look at this blue spike right here.
And
My
inflation
God.
was one of the things I got into this to get rid of.
Right. Like they have like no blocks for hours and then insta-mining blocks. I mean, this is hilarious. It's really something else. And this is why I can't wait for the 2x hard fork, especially like what's his name? Right. When Roger replied to Satoshi saying, "Hey, how come you're not offering it to me?" And Satoshi's like, "I thought you were too busy with Bcash. Why are you focusing on 2x?" So what the hell is going to happen? This is why if the 2x fork happens, the 2x fork is only going to make Bcash fork more unstable because they're going to be fighting each other for those same miners.
And remember, yesterday we learned that Bitmain is now only accepting Bcash, making it essentially a company coin.
I think when history books get written, that's going to be one of the stupidest moves any company has ever done. Well, like I think in 10 years when we write the history books, that might be the stupidest move. We have to document this. That might be the stupidest move pretty much ever. Oh, and somebody, hold on a second. There was that, I have too many notifications. Maybe I'll find it. Did you see the latest graphic of Bcash being better? Yeah, I have way too many notifications now. This is, hold on, I have to find it though. I just realized it. And I wasn't sure if this was a joke from a Bitcoiner trolling Bcash, or it was real from Bcash. That was funny, by the way. This is this is in the comment to what we said the other. This right here. Like I had to double check. Like I had to ask, is this something that the Bitcoin Cash people are promoting, or is this like a troll making fun of Bcash? Because it can go either way.
It looks pretty official, but then again, Photoshop's not that hard, so it could be anybody.
Right. Yeah. So it's virtually instant blocks, which at the moment is kind of true, but. No Bitcoin fees, $3 a transaction. That was them causing the spam. And 24 transactions a second. I mean, clearly nobody needs it. Nobody even needs 3 transactions a second at the moment. 6+ teams competing to build the best Bitcoin. I would love to know which 6 teams it is. Like it's probably 6 developers, each one having a team. Well, the one team on Bitcoin has over 100 developers, all independent. I mean, this is just propaganda. I mean, this is just bad. This is just bad. All right. Anyway, let's get to the price. I've kept people in suspense long enough. Weekly chart is neutral. It remains neutral. Now, this doesn't mean you don't hold Bitcoin. It just means you don't sell the car, you don't sell the apartment, and you don't buy extra Bitcoin. That's all it means, okay? The last time weekly chart went bullish was for trading purposes, was right here the first week of August, and it was at a price of 28.25, and you did really, really well. Even after the 40% crash, you were still above the buying price, which is what trading is. Trading is trying to find the best price so that you're never actually losing money on a position. Next week, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. We might go bullish next week for a tradable position on a long-term chart if we start trading above 4,600, which at this point seems almost inevitable, okay? So if you want to be premature, sure. But according to the numbers, the weekly chart is still neutral. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Look at this giant green arrow I drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago. And look how we're perfectly, each candle is up and down around the arrow. I thought it would be a little more volatile, but who the hell knows, right? So look at the daily. The daily is on a tradable position. There was a lot of resistance in this area. Of course, you had buy points, right? Like some people decided to jump early and they bought the breakout above the trend line. So that means they would have bought right around 3,900. That's fine. Other people could have been more conservative. Those that have my numerical indicator, my past clients, they would have, and they wanted to ignore all other technicals, they could have bought right here at the price of just as we were crossing 4,000. That's another perfectly reasonable buy point. I was probably the most conservative out of them all, and I was waiting for 4,100 to be crossed in order to have a safe, tradable, awesome risk-reward position. Now, there was some resistance at 4,200, kept us there for about 2.5 days, and yesterday we broke out. So I am now focused on new all-time highs. I see no resistance between here and 5,000. And once we get to 5,000, 5,000 is not resistance to me. 5,000 is just a double top that's inevitable to be broken. Once we break the 5,000, you want to see it go substantially higher than the new high in order to trap the FOMO people and hurt them financially. So once we break above 5,000, I am looking for 6,000 and higher. And hopefully the weekly chart would cross into a green and we get another one of these runs. So I am looking for a weekly run, probably to 6,000 to 7,000, maybe even to 8,000 this year. But guess what? That mempool is a problem. It may not be a problem for you, but you're going to be the one screaming in next year. If Bitcoin price is falling from 10,000 to 4,000 or from 10,000 to 5,000, you can scream about, but it's protecting you. It's savings. You can be screaming that, but the charts are telling me that the higher we go this year, the more the pain next year. You don't get to go straight up. The market isn't that simple, okay? You have to be ready for it. So let's see. I can't predict the top. I'm better off predicting it in days. So in days, we are on the 7th candle, and we're already starting the day on a pullback, and I'll explain why we've started today on a pullback. But I am looking for today to be generally a decent day, and then 2 more days of upside. So on Tuesday, there'll probably be a little bit of downside, a little bit more than we're seeing right now. So why are we pulling back? So again, if I go to my Twitter, this is the Tone Vase playing God with the Bitcoin price section, okay? This was funny, by the way. I don't know if you guys seen that. Twitter is raising the limit like Bcash. Oh, yeah, no, nobody saw that part. All right, come on. Here we go. So I tweeted this out, right? And I said, hey, on the 4-hour chart, I can't really zoom in here, but I said, hey, on the 4-hour chart, we have an 8 and we're about to get to a 9. Once we get to a 9, let's have one more 4-hour period of upside. We get a 9, we get a nice red arrow. It'll be obvious and really cool looking for my chart. And I remain, you know, the Tonstradamus with my code putting in arrows that are acting perfectly. So the idiot that I am, I tweeted this out 6 or 7 hours too early. And people made fun of me because because 5 hours, because immediately after I sent the tweet, that 8 started the sell-off. I didn't get to my, 4,300 area. This is like just a couple of days ago. I didn't get to it. I didn't get my 9. I didn't get my red arrow on the chart, and I'm upset about that. And I said, this would have been right here. Like, this was my 8, and this should have been my 9. It would have been a nice fat arrow. And people made fun of me like, no, you don't affect the market. So last night there was an 8 as I was going to sleep. And I'm like, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm not tweeting this out. I'm going to wait for my 9 and a red arrow. So this red arrow on a 4-hour chart will stay here now forever, because the way the code is designed, like when you get the arrows and the 9s, they stay there forever, okay? But if you don't get a 9, the numbers disappear. So there was a reason to go before I went to bed last night. I purposely did not tweet out there is a 9 coming with a red arrow and a potential sell-off, and here it is. Okay, maybe I have enough clients, and they were all watching it. I know that because of the group chat. All right. So there you go. So I don't want to hear it. All right. So that's cool, right? So this is why we're having a little sell-off right now. It's right here. I got the 9. I got the sell. Now, what does this mean? So this means that on a 4-hour chart, I am looking for a 1 to 4 candle pullback. So that's at most 1 day, like half a day to a day. So this is why I am expecting the first half of today to be a bit of a pullback, but the daily candles are still telling you 2.5 more days of upside. So we're going to have half a day of weakness. I'm looking for the next 2.5 days of uptime, and then maybe we'll get another 9 on the 4-hour chart. There should have been a 9 right here. There probably would have been if I didn't get Twitter happy. So there'll be one more 9 on a 4-hour chart, which hopefully will coincide with a 9 on a daily chart in a couple of days. And that could cause a 1 to 4 day pullback, as opposed to the 1 to 4-hour candle pullback we're dealing with right now. All right. So that's what I'm personally looking for. Here's the hourly chart. It's not really all that useful. Nothing's going on. But B-Trash, hey guys, you got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Bitmain tried to support it, but it clearly didn't work. You got a little green arrow right here. You had a little green arrow here as well that bumped your price a smidge for 1 day, and then it was lower. This 13 is coming from this 9. I gotta look at my code here. I didn't think this should be a 1. You're in the middle of another 13. Anyway, if you still have B-Trash, you may want to consider get rid of that sucker. All right, I am off to Prague tomorrow. I am teaching my trading seminar on Wednesday. It is almost full. There may be 1 more seat left. I have a max capacity of 15 people. I already have like 12, and 2 of the people in there are trying to convince their friends to come. So I have probably either 3 or 1 seats remaining. I will be selling the last seat for 0.1 Bitcoin for the 3 hours. So the last one will pay a little bit extra, 0.1 Bitcoin for the 3 hours. After that, it's off to BlockCon, which is the event in Santa Monica. I am teaching my trading seminar there. That one is starting to fill up too. I mean, that one, I don't know how many that one seats, but definitely more than 15, but it's filling up. And I'll be in Ukraine on October 30th. And then I will probably go to Scaling Bitcoin. And in December, it's Colombia. They finally updated. Okay, so because people keep asking me. So it's LaBitConf. LaBitConf finally updated their Twitter handle. I will be in Colombia for the Latin American Bitcoin and blockchain. Where did blockchain come from? The Latin American Bitcoin Conference, and that's in Colombia, 4th and 5th. It's in Bogota, Colombia. So I should probably book my tickets and a place to stay first before I start promoting it, before I end up paying like 8x the amount. But anyway, I will be here. I will be at this event speaking. I can't wait to go to Colombia. That's pretty much it for me. I know it's a little bit of a longer show. I may do my own economics show later tonight. Depends how much work I get done. And I'm planning to spend the entire day today updating the educational trading section of my website, because too many people are attending my seminars and they keep asking me, oh, what do I have to prep ahead of time? So I am going to fill out. So as of tomorrow, please go to my website, libertylifetrail.com. There is an educational section. Go to trading, and I'm going to have a bunch of stuff there for you. And hopefully you can start learning the basics of trading without having to pay anyone a consulting fee. You know, it's free information. All right, a little longer than usual today, but back to you, Thomas.
All right, thanks, Tom, for that update. And I just wanted to go back and talk more about the Bitcoin bet. As much as I like the idea that they're putting skin in the game and they both really believe in their projects, I think it's embarrassing that they're spending their $1 million in that way. And it's kind of embarrassing that it's also not really hacker to show that you have that money. It's a big sign to the government that these people are going to get IRS notices and other things. Maybe they're in other countries, they don't care. But it just seems like if I had $1 million, I wouldn't be gambling it on a project. I would be investing it in other things that I think would make the world better. And Tone posited this idea before the show. You can, okay, go ahead, Tone.
No. We'll save that. We'll save that for another show. But I really hate it. I really hate it because, look, guys, back when Mitt Romney was running for U.S. president, he actually did an amazing job pretending to be a middle-class man while being a billionaire. He really did. And right now, like, a lot of people don't like people like Roger and Jihan and some of the others, mostly because of the money they have. And people like Charlie Lee, people like people should know that Trace Mayer has a lot of Bitcoin, but he, you know, he doesn't flash it. And Charlie Lee, you know, had a good run of you know, being this broke developer, you know, working for Coinbase as a CTO. You know, like Gregory Maxwell has this persona that he's doing it, you know, out of the goodness of open source development and privacy, and not necessarily a Bitcoin early adopter with, you know, potentially thousands of Bitcoins. The Bitcoin core guys are doing a very good job not flashing the money, you know, living a normal lifestyle, you know, not just, you know, working, developing, not throwing parties. Like, you have a good thing going. You're screwing it up. I'm trying not to curse here. You're screwing it up. Okay, you're screwing it up. I think this is bad. I would never participate in this, even if I had that kind of Bitcoin, which I'm making clear that I don't. You really don't want to do that. You want to stay humble. Like, I know I can take things too far sometimes, and people think that, you know, I go overboard, but I would never do that, right? Like, I would never, like some of the things, like I would never tweet out like that I have insider knowledge of things. Several of our people are doing that. Like I would never flash these kinds of bets publicly or privately. Like, I almost bet Roger Ver, like, actually Roger wanted to bet me $10,000 publicly in Mexico. I don't think it was on video or not. They never released the videos. And I turned them down for the money, even though I can probably afford a $10,000 bet. It was over Bitcoin Unlimited, which I would have won, though it probably would have been debatable. But no, I bet him. I said reputation means more to me. How about we bet reputation? How about if your chain succeeds, you stop being a public person, and if my chain like if your chain succeeds, I stop being a public person, and if my chain succeeds, you stop being a public person. Well, like, I would rather make reputational bets than giant financial bets. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and well, Tone's right. We're not going to go into it in great detail, but we were talking about what we would do if we had $1 million. And I was like, well, I'd pay off my credit card bills, because right now I'm paying the monthly minimums. And then I was like, I'd start a Bitcoin journal, and I'd do World Crypto Network 24/7. I'd do all this stuff. And Tone was more on the other side. He's like, I would need security, and I would have a serious tax problem.
So well, no, not $1 million. That doesn't start at $1 million. Like, I'll have an easy time, you know, if hiding $1 million in Bitcoin. That's not that hard. We're talking 100 million. You know, like between 10 and 100 million. if you have between 10 and 100 million, at that point, you got to make a decision. Am I still going to live like a broke bum, or am I going to start to live comfortably? And what if everyone knows? What if some guy decides to donate to one of our public addresses, like $10 million, and somebody's watching our public addresses, and now everybody knows? What do you do now?
See, I can't even think beyond $1 million. I have the credit card debts, I have a house, buy some nice shoes. I don't know. I'm not too much into things other than just trying to keep making the videos.
I can. I mean, I'm still worried that Bitcoin is not going to be sustainable long term. So because we don't know, it's still experimental and it's still new. So assuming I have or I had or I will have $1 million in Bitcoin, I would still be speculative that it's going to turn into 10 million, but I'm ready for it to go to zero. So nothing on my end would change at all. Like nobody would notice a difference because I'm waiting for that 1 million in Bitcoin to be 10 million in Bitcoin, and then I'll sell some. But I'm always prepared that my 1 million on paper will go to zero. And that is something a lot of the 19 and 20-year-olds in the space trading prepared for, because like I've had money before. I have a reputation now. If my 1 million in Bitcoin goes to zero, I'll be perfectly fine. I'll just transition into traditional markets and maybe go back, find another job, which would be a high-paying job. Well, like that's not. I mean, I do this because I really want to do this. But what happens when you're a paper? If you have 3-4 million on paper and you have absolutely no idea, you don't understand how you became that millionaire because you're an ICO trader. And when that goes to zero, you have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about Bitcoin going to zero. I'm more worried about Bitcoin having a lot of zeros behind it. But I'd just like to thank Paloma for providing today's Bitcoin artwork. This is Vitamin B. Has a lot of Bitcoin symbols and the blockchain and some other stuff in it. And we're out of time for today, so I'm just going to show the QR code. As Tone said, we totally expect $1 million, but we're actually fine with 10 or 20 bucks or $5. Any kind of donation helps. And remember, I am traveling Europe right now. It's a little expensive, and I don't want to bum you out, but making Mad Bitcoins videos don't really pay that well. But I like doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it, and I like this channel. So please make sure that you thumbs up this video and share. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe down below. I was looking at our stats. 30% of the people watching our videos haven't subscribed yet. So it'd be great if you guys subscribed. And if you want more information about when the shows start, YouTube has a notifications function. You can turn on the notifications. It'll send you an email, some kind of thing. You can follow Mad Bitcoins on Twitter. I tell you when the shows are on, at least my show. Or you can follow the World Crypto Network on Twitter. That would be good to do too. But thanks so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. And we've got the Vortex show with the Bitcoin News show later today. Sometime today. I don't know. I'm in Berlin. I don't know what time it is in California. But you will figure that out. And we did the Bitcoin group a couple of days ago. If you want to watch that, check out Jimmy Song's show, Off Chain. And until next time, bye-bye.